How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Stoppage Time Stooges podcast. We're all back together again, finally. Christian, Jacob, Ricardo, and myself, Andrew. But before we get going into the pod, how are we all doing today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lukewarm.
That's the best Jacob. It's lukewarm.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
I imagine the way we have this episode formatted, it's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. This is going to be a microwave the longer we go. But let's see. Hopefully we don't go that long today. But to start off, we had a big weekend, big week in general with Matchday 1 of the Champions League. 3 days of Matchday 1. Still not used to that.
Yeah.
I walked over to Ricardo.
So weird. It was odd. I'm like,
I walked over to Ricardo at work on Thursday. I'm like, we got more. I was like, Ricardo's like, I'm ready for Europa League.
Yeah, exactly. Like Europa. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it was great to have 3 match days. And then we got on to another exciting Premier League weekend, capped off by Arsenal and Man City. Which, I mean, I guess it happened. That's kind of my takeaway. It happened.
I can't stop thinking about the post-game stuff.
Why don't you elaborate?
I mean, the sound bites from that after that final whistle blew they were gold. When Erling Haaland told Mikel Arteta, "Stay humble," and Mikel Arteta looked at him like he just saw someone getting shot in the face. And then it got even better when he basically, let me clean this up for the show, told Gabriel Jesus to back off. That's the most PG way I can say what he told him. I don't want to. I'm trying to stay PG, but he basically told Gabriel Jesus to back off in a much more meaner tone, so to speak. And if you look it up, you can understand what I'm trying to say. But I thought it was great. It was a good physical game. I know Arsenal think that they are the moral winners because they got a draw at the Etihad, but
they should have won.
They should have won, and they didn't. And I don't care that they were down a man, but if you have the lead, you have to hold the lead. But this is just more proof that, they're not winning the league. This is City's going to win the league.
I think it was the most. Oh yeah.
Although I will say I give them a lot of credit. I know what I don't give them a lot of credit for beating Tottenham away because that's not hard. And I'm mad because of stupid Liverpool that didn't complete my parlay. They couldn't beat.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I am pissed off. One time I want.
There you go. The microwave is cooking.
The one time I want Liverpool to win, they can't beat Nottingham freaking Forest at home. Arne Flop had no clues, had no idea.
Forest is a tough side.
But but this is
someone did say that before the season.
What about the other guy that kept telling you that Arsenal were going to be fine and beat Tottenham away?
Would you like a cookie?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I can go get one downstairs. You want me to get you one?
I guess I'm a little hungry. I don't know.
Chocolate chip, sugar. What are we talking?
I don't know. My point is I'm trying to make is that Ange Fraudstoglou once again.
Big Ange.
Yeah, big fraud, as I like to call him, prove to you that he is nothing. He has literally he couldn't get Arsenal at a better time last week. And what do? Lose. They let Gabriel score a friggin' goal. I mean, come on. But anyway, no, I know, but I mean,
are you going to criticize City then?
I mean, yeah, but it's a little different.
Oh my God! All right, so picking and choosing when we want to criticize them.
Hey, they came up through in the clutch. John Stones.
Yeah,
he's got stones of steel.
Nice.
All I know is that Pep made that change, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then it worked. You think Ange Postecoglou would make a change that would, help Tottenham win the game? Come on. I can't wait to play Tottenham. I want him now.
Well,
Sorry,
you're gonna have to
that
wait
was
your
my
turn.
small rant. That was my small rant for.
Don't worry,
we didn't have a show last week, so I had to get that out now.
That's fair. We'll get to Chelsea later. Don't worry, fear not. We'll have a rant on Chelsea later, I'm sure. Although maybe not after this weekend. This weekend was good, so maybe not. By the way, Jacob and I, only two people to pick Chelsea in our Stoppage Time Stooges sleeper pick 'em. So we believe. But the most important and worst thing that happened in this Arsenal-Man City match was a collision Rodri had with Thomas Partey of Arsenal, and it's been revealed he tore his ACL. He's out for the season. It's very unfortunate for a City side that we thought this is probably the deepest they've been throughout their dynasty, I'd say. I mean, getting Gundogan back now and hoping that Rodri would be healthy, who, as I know Jacob considers him this, I consider him this, the best holding midfielder in the world right now. How do we feel about this devastating injury, and how do we think this affects City's chances at repeating?
Before we start, let me read something I saw on Twitter today because it blew my mind. It was from Kyle Bond. He found something on Transfer Market. Rodri's missed 8 games due to injury in his career. 8. Just Jeez. 8. That's it. The last injury was a hamstring. That knocked him out for 3 games. He's been so durable for not just his time at City, but his entire career. I don't think it's going to be the type of injury that potentially loses them a title. I still think they are the favorite. Again, I think all of us agree that until they are taken off of that top spot, it's hard to pick against them. But, I mean, the numbers do show this team does suffer a lot more when he is not on the field. So it hurts. I'm fascinated to see how Pep molds his midfield in big games without him. But this is, the best 6 in the world and the most important player on City's team at the moment. I mean, you can make a case for Erling Haaland, certainly a good case, but you take a guy like that out of the midfield, that changes everything. So, yeah, this is a backbreaker for them.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is, in Ballon d'Or conversation, seems like year in, year out. He could win it in theory, but he just is that important for City, as Christian, alluded to and said. It's just, I mean, I know I hate City, but for you really don't want to see their best players or any of the best players in the game, suffer an injury like this. It really is, devastating, and I feel bad for City. It is going to be, I mean, they do have, the bodies to somewhat replace him, but, no one can really replicate what he does on the field, his impacts. So it is going to be tough to sort of deal with, but injuries are unfortunately part of the game, and it's a shame that one of the best, had to suffer such a devastating one this past weekend.
Jacob, how do you feel?
Yeah, I kind of echo the sentiments of the rest of the guys. I this is a huge loss to Man City because you can argue he's their best player. You can argue that he's the best midfielder in the world, and he's so important to their success. Christian talked about how he's missed 8 games in his career. This guy is very durable, and he doesn't sit. He doesn't sit in any tournament. He plays in the Carabao Cup against bad teams. Like, he's out there all the time. And I always say, like, he's like, Haaland's the car, but Rodri's the engine. You know, like, that's how I feel about him. And it's a huge loss. I mean, listen, I think Mateo Kovacic is a very good, capable player, but he's not Rodri. And that position, that 6, is not a position that they're super deep at, in my opinion.
They're probably going to start Stones.
Yeah, I mean, that worked like a year ago, kind of.
Yep.
They did it like 2 years ago, I think, when they won the treble. They sort of put him and Rodri as a 6, as 2 6s, and Pep sort of like dramatically changed his formation, and it worked, obviously. So maybe he'll do it again, but it's certainly not their deepest position when it comes to depth on the team. But my thing is this, and we keep saying it, and it's a cliche. Until they don't win the title, I still think they're going to win the title. If I was convinced about Arsenal winning the title, they would have figured out a way to hold on to that game yesterday. Then I would be a little more, maybe then I'd be a little bit more different. And plus, Arsenal have injuries at the moment to Odegaard, one of their important midfielders. So it's going to be interesting because I just don't think anyone can beat City. I think as bad as the Rodri injury is, I think if this was Haaland, I'd feel way differently. Because even though you could say Rodri is more important than Haaland, they don't have a backup for Haaland, really. They don't have a real number 9 backup for Haaland. I mean, you could play a bunch of guys there, but none of them are real strikers. They're not pure 9s. So I still think that it could be worse for Man City, but this is definitely a blow, no question about it.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I think I agree with everyone where in the sentiment that I'm not going to hop off my pick of Man City winning once again in the Premier League just because of this injury. However, I mean, look at the stats that Rodri led the Premier League in last year of carry distance and his touches. I think he had over 4,100 touches just last season alone, which is insane. I think he led the Prem in completed passes too. Like, he's so important in keeping that Man City cog running. It's gonna be interesting to see what they could do without him, and we haven't really seen him. Like Christian alluded to, we haven't really seen them play without him. So it'll be very interesting to see how Pep adjusts for that.
What's funny is the guy that would have been the ideal backup, Calvin Phillips, isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
that's what you bring him there for.
Yeah, but he's not there anymore, and I mean, so it's going to be, again, it will be very interesting to see what they do in that position.
Moving on, are we going to call this the injury episode? We had another unfortunate injury. This time to Barcelona's number 1 goalkeeper, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. He ruptured his right patella tendon against Villarreal this past weekend in La Liga. This is one where Barca, they're going to, I don't know, for a replacement, it's going to be really tough to find a replacement. I mean, they can go get a free agent. Iñaki Peña came on for them, but they're still going to have to find, some backup for him. So this is a massive blow for Barcelona, who was off to a hot start to this season. They won the Villarreal match 5-1 as well. Continue that, but just what a blow for Hansi Flick, who, it's been so positive so far to start this La Liga season. I don't know if this is one, like, I with City and Rodri, I'm like, okay, they have enough talent. It's not a goalkeeper is very important. a goalkeeper, that's a massive blow compared to a 6. So in terms of importance, I think this is going to weigh on Barcelona much more than Rodri will to Man City. How do you guys feel about that?
I feel terrible for him on a personal level more than the team. Because, again, he was now in a position where he was going to be Germany's number 1
Good
And
point.
again, there's no major tournaments in this period that he'll be out, but I mean, he would have been the number one in all these Nations League and friendlies. It stinks for him on a personal level.
And he's waited a long time
Yeah.
to be the number one in Germany.
And again, if he was a national team goalkeeper for a lot of nations in Europe, he would have been the starter years ago.
Yep.
So it's a testament to how good Manuel Neuer was for as long as he was, because to take over a goalkeeper of that caliber and legacy is not going to be easy. Assuming he can come back and be the goalkeeper he is today, but this is just an issue for Barcelona as a whole. I mean, they're off to a fantastic start. Youngsters are playing well. Robert Lewandowski's scoring goals virtually in every game. Rafinha looks like an awesome player right now.
Xavi was right.
The problem is they are missing, we can list them. I mean, it's like a dozen at this point. Christensen. Is Pedri's available, I think, right now, but you can go down the list. There's so many different players that are missing. You would think that over time it's going to cost them. So I don't know what you guys think of him. Obviously, Andrew and Ricardo, you have ties to La Liga and how Barcelona does. But from a neutral, I think they're going to be right there, but they need these players to come back and get back quickly. Otherwise, I think over a full season, multiple competitions, it's going to be hard for them to win trophies, in my opinion. I just don't know if they can last over a full year because, again, this has been an issue for a lot of these players. I mean, Pedri's dealt with injuries all the time. You're looking at a midfielder who's world-class when he's fit. Danny Olmo has been injured virtually every season, going back to his RB Leipzig days. Great start at Barcelona, and then he gets hurt. So I just think this squad is going to be really thin for a while, and until they get deeper, it's hard to see them doing anything significant, trophies-wise at least.
It's intriguing. I mean, you're right. Yeah, the injuries are really. I think it's like eight players, something like that, or it might be longer than that. But at least, like you said, over the course of a season, they will not last, and it will be tough for them to contend for every competition. But I guess just going back to their Stegen injury, I mean that's again another one of those where it's just awful to see that. And it seemed like it was going to be like a normal sort of like he just went up to catch the ball and just landed really awkwardly. It's just one of those freak accidents. But seeing stuff of like, they're interested in like Keylor Navas, Loris Karius. They've been supposedly, interest in free agents out there. It's just a matter of who they sign, who they bring in. Hopefully not Keylor, because obviously he played for Real. But
that'd be depressing.
That would kind of break me a little. But again, it's kind of hard to replace someone who has been as good as Ter Stegen. Even you could argue he's been a little inconsistent last couple of seasons. So be it. But still, as Ter Stegen, he's one of the most experienced players on that team. So losing a veteran, a leader in him is devastating, at least on the field, and then just from a leadership standpoint, it also is that'll hurt them a little bit. But I still think regardless they'll be fine. It's just they do have to get healthy, and it's just a question of when at this point. I
mean, if you look at their backup keepers, they're all young. They're all like very young keepers. Like that's an issue. They're really gonna have to find someone soon to sign some vet. And like you said, Keylor Navas, no, come on, don't do it, my guy. But honestly, it's thin pickings amongst those who are free agents. So I don't know how to feel about that if you're Barcelona.
Yeah, too bad to hate. you think about De Gea being available all those months, not being available now. This really is terrible timing. I mean, it's terrible timing, and it's just really unfortunate. Barcelona, they're rolling right now. They've been really good offensively, defensively, and this is just a huge blow on top of a lot of other injuries that their team has suffered. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because they certainly have their backs up against the wall from an injury perspective.
Dare I say Diego Costa? Let's have an American save the day.
Well, if you want to give the La Liga to Real Madrid, that would be a great way.
I mean, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I mean,
then there you go. I mean,
well, honestly, it's a brutal blow, and as you guys have all detailed, I mean, for Ter Stegen, just awful timing for him. So hopefully he recovers back, comes back fully healthy, and is able to star for Barca and Germany in the near future. Moving away from injuries, that was a depressing first 22 minutes. We had the first match day of the Champions League this past week, and we're going to do something a little different because we want to keep it a little shorter instead of going through each match, since there are more Champions League matches than ever before now. We're going to do one thing that surprised us from each match day. So we're going to go around the square, and we're going to tell you one thing that surprised us. Let's start off with Christian and make our way clockwise.
It'd be easy to go with Liverpool, but I got to be honest, not really that surprised with how Milan looked. So I'll save that for another day. I'll go with Aston Villa with a comfortable win in their return to the Champions League. Again, this is a team that showed a lot of us what they can do last season, and disappointment in the Conference League. Probably should have won that tournament, but came up against Olympiacos and really struggled. But 3-0 win against Young Boys, super comfortable. I didn't really know what to expect, not only in this match, but I think just for their entire campaign. Because, I mean, 8 teams automatically into that, knockout round. The next 9 through 24 are going to play in a 2-legged playoff. I think Aston Villa will probably finish in that tier. I don't really have any concerns about them not even being in that tier, I would say. But, yeah, I just comfortable win, goals from Tielemans, Ramsey, and Onana. I mean, this is a team that I think is going to be able to compete on both the league and the Champions League formats, which is great for them because, it's been a while since they played in Europe, at least at this level. And I think with Unai Emery, they're a pretty dangerous team. So I'm surprised by how comfortable it looked for them in match day 1.
So is it me now?
Yeah, Ricardo, then Jacob,
right.
then myself.
I wanted to say, well, it's not surprising that City Inter tied. They drew. And it's not surprising that Arsenal didn't win because,
Atalanta.
Yeah, well, that and because, Arsenal just don't show up in the Champions League for some reason. But I'm not going to pick – I mean, I could pick Real. That's the easy way. But I'm not going to do it.
They were not – no, Ricardo. No.
What?
Real were not impressive. But they did surprise us with how poorly they played.
Maybe they surprised by not being good.
Good point.
No, I was going to say that's not even surprising because they've started so slow. So I'm just knocking out I don't know. Maybe you'll talk about it, but they didn't look great.
We'll talk Real. We got that as a topic.
I'll bring up Juventus, PSV because I mean honestly 3-1. I don't think it really does it justice because Juve could have absolutely scored 6 goals, 6-7. They were
PSV did not show
PSV to shred. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that one-sided. I mean, maybe initially PSV were, it was a bit more even, but after the first goal went in, it was just all Juve. They just suffocated them the entire game. And, like I said, it it was just fun to watch. I mean, I haven't really watched Juve that closely, but hearing the stuff and reading the stuff about Thiago Motta and his offensive tactics and all, but like seeing it, kind of, and actually watching it is like a totally different thing. So I guess it was surprising how easy they made it look. It was just really impressive. Potentially a dark horse team, but it's encouraging start for them for sure. But I like what Thiago Motta is doing with that squad, with that team. So that's probably the biggest one that they really just ripped them apart, PSV apart.
It's good to see Juve back in the Champions League, and also
I cannot believe he started.
It's the Weston McKennie cycle. Every single club season, he's out of favor. They want to sell him. He gets angry. Somehow they agree to a contract extension. Somehow he cracks the lineup. Somehow he plays well and he's in shape. And then somehow he's one of the best players for Juve for the rest of the season.
That's a lot of somehows.
No, that's just the Weston McKennie cycle at Juve. That's just how it works. But it's funny. Good for him. After a disastrous summer. Jacob, what you got?
I know this is a cop-out answer, but I watched I finally watched like a whole Real Madrid game, and I was like, all right, I keep hearing all this stuff about how they don't look that good, and I go, how bad can it be? And then I went, ooh.
Yeah, he sees the vision.
And then I go, oh, that's the Rudiger I know. I love him. But now this is my big gripe with Rudiger, and this isn't his fault. This is the fault of like the world. He's at Chelsea. No one cares about him. They think he sucks. The minute he goes to Real Madrid, he's a superstar.
I'm like, oh, look that way when he was at Chelsea?
Well, to the FIFA world, it was.
Yeah, Jacob always talks about how
FIFA ratings.
Yeah, Jacob always talks about his FIFA ratings are just spiked up.
They were. Look at them. It's ridiculous.
We should ask Jacob what ratings he likes worse, Foot Mob or FIFA ratings.
Oh God,
Foot Mob. Oh, God.
We're gonna go back and find that João Felix game against Fulham where he got sent off. Whatever game he was talking about.
It's the West Fofana game against Man U where he was the worst defensive performance ever. And Wesley Fofana almost, I'm going to save that for the Chelsea thing.
Let me pull it up again. I gotta find it.
Real Madrid, to me, they were just very like lethargic. It was just like, I was just like, where's the juice? You know what I mean? Like, and they saved it all for the second half. Say, okay, but
it's kind of what they've been doing.
I'm watching it. I'm like, something's wrong, and I don't know what it is. And I'm trying to figure it out. Something's off, and I'm just like,
It's like their motivate. I don't know if it's. I don't want to question motivation. I don't like questioning motivation. I think it's unfair to the player. However, I think lethargic's a really good adjective.
Yeah.
They're clunky. They're more careless in possession. I mean, they'll dominate a match in possession, but they won't generate any harmful shots on target.
It seems like they keep waiting to turn the light on. Now we need to try hard. It's like, no, you gotta try hard when the game starts.
And I'm sorry, I love my Brazilian players. Too much dancing. There's too much dancing right now. Even Mbappe, there's too much dancing, and we need to play through our midfield. That's why we were successful last season. We need to play through Jude and Valverde, who's doing well as a Cruz replacement. But we'll talk about them later because I'm sure Ricardo will have a lot more to say, and I definitely have more to say about Real. But definitely disappointing. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so happy no one picked this. The man may have left, but the idea will never leave. FC Fraudulona. Fraudulona.
I knew it.
Oh my goodness. Disaster losing to Monaco. Oh my god. Eric Garcia getting the red card. Oh, what a joke. What a joke. Lamine Yamal did score. He was, impressive as per usual. We have an Endrick. But, which, by the way, when Endrick scored, he had an open Mbappe, he had an open Vinny, and he said, no, they're dancing. I'm going to take the shot on target. I'm going to be the aggressor. and he scored a goal.
I'll tell you, when he jumped over that thing, I got a little nervous.
Me too. I thought he was going to slip. I thought he was going to slip when he landed.
And
I was very nervous.
I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing?
That's an 18-year-old for you.
Is he? I thought he was younger than that.
No, he's 18 because he couldn't come over before. That was the whole thing. So they signed him a few years ago, but he couldn't come over till he was 18 because of Euro rules. But Barcelona losing to Monaco, amazing, because now they're gonna have harder opponents to face in the league phase. They might not even advance. I
wouldn't say that yet.
They might. I mean, every match day is more important now than ever before.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Losing to Monaco, who is a weakened Monaco compared to last season. I mean, they don't have Ben Yedder anymore. It's not like. I mean, Mbolo, I guess, is.
It's a good squad, but it's not one that should
Zakaria is still there. But it's not. They're not a dangerous squad, and for Barca to lose them after their hot start in La Liga, it's very disappointing. And I was very surprised because I thought they were going to roll through Monaco. They were away, but still shouldn't be an excuse. So, I guess that's everything. I mean, we didn't mention Bayern.
True.
With an impressive 9-piece.
It's one thing to win. The fact that they beat them that badly was wow.
It's one of the worst beatdowns I've seen in a while. And I mean, God, Harry Kane 4 goals. Elise a brace.
On a mission.
It's early.
It's early. Roberto Guerrero.
Games don't matter yet.
Guerrero with a golazo. Hey, that goal differential. We're talking games mattering. That goal differential is going to be the reason why they're in first for a while. So unless they, of course, lose. All right, I think it's enough Champions League unless we want to go back to that. But well, I guess we might actually because we're going to be talking about our clubs now. We'll start off. We'll go ring around the rosy once again. How about that? So we'll start off with Christian. Why don't you talk about Liverpool lately? How do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
You're not walking alone?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's been a perfect start. Obviously, losing to Nottingham Forest is sorry, Jacob. It hurts me too.
Espírito Santo, amen.
But I mean, I don't think you could really ask for much more from Arne Slot in his first couple games. Replacing a legend like Jurgen Klopp was never going to be easy, but I mean, they've played well. They've looked in control in a lot of these matches. So I feel pretty good. We're going to see how they look against better opposition because, again, I mean, their first couple tough games, I guess, were Manchester United away, who were terrible that day. It's right now, it's just not like an elite level opposition, in my opinion. So not a huge test. Obviously, Old Trafford's never an easy place to go, but they were very comfortable in that match. And then Milan away. And again, Milan came up with a very good performance at the weekend in the Milan derby, but before that, it's been a mess. So it was a pretty comfortable start to the Champions League too. So I think the biggest thing is, to me, how much rotation is he going to do going forward? Because in a lot of these Premier League matches, he has not rotated. It's the same back four. You have Gravenberg, Szoboszlai, and McAllister in the midfield, and then it's been Jota, Salah, and Diaz, except this weekend, which, I mean, Jacob's reaction in the group chat kind of said it all. Darwin actually starting?
I know he was still
surprised
there.
too, but to his credit, he had a really good goal on his weak foot. So, maybe he'll be a part of the starting 11, at least in the immediate short term. I think his ceiling is probably higher than Jota's, but his floor isn't. So we'll see how Slot navigates that, because a lot of people have dividing opinions on Darwin. Probably within the four of us, we do.
You know who's never taking out of the game?
Salah?
Diaz. No, Diaz.
Well, I mean, Diaz's end product has been.
No, I know he's been great.
I think he's been our best player. Probably him and Gravenberg have been our two best players, I would say.
Yeah. Poor Endo.
Yeah. I think everybody thought they would be in big trouble when Zubimendi decided to stay at Sociedad, but Ryan Gravenberg's been unbelievable. So, we'll see. I know we got a couple big games in the short term. Wolves away is at the weekend. But, yeah, I mean, Liverpool.
They packed it in.
Wolves have had a brutal start.
I almost think that Lopetegui is managing their team too, and I just can't. It's like he's like wearing a costume. I can't I don't know. I'll get to him in a minute, but
Yeah, we'll see. I know a couple of us picked them to finish second. I believe it was just me and Andrew. But, I mean, I feel pretty content with that prediction still. I still think Arsenal's slightly behind them at the moment, definitely with the injuries. But, yeah, Liverpool's got some big matches in the near future. So we'll see how they – and particularly Slot work in those matches and how he navigates those.
Yeah, and, I mean – you're forgetting about the Carabao Cup, Jacob's favorite competition. Liverpool playing West Ham tomorrow, or maybe no. I'm sorry, excuse me. Wednesday. So
I'd like to win some cup competitions.
Okay.
I don't know if I like them as much as Jacob, but
he loves the energy drink competition.
Well, you better love that Carabao Cup because it's the only damn trophy you won last year.
How did you win?
You're welcome.
I
know, because they gave it to friggin' Liverpool because Chelsea stunk. That was like top 5 worst Poch managed games, easily. I mean, it was. Don't you remember? They had 50 kids on the field and they did nothing. With like all their players hurt.
I thought Jacob was going to be in a good mood today.
Oh, I did.
When you bring up last year's Carabao Cup final, I am never.
I didn't bring it up.
Excuse me. When it's brought into the fold, and again, my fault. But you shouldn't have. Don't worry about West Ham. They suck. So.
Well, I guess Poch will be doing that a lot with the U.S. So.
Well, I hope not. I hope he's not losing big games.
Well, he's gonna be starting Kevin Sullivan. He's young. He's young and he can run. So get ready for that. Anyways, and how do you feel about the very early, not substantiated rumors about Trent to Real Madrid?
I hate it.
I'm going to Real.
I can't say anything else other than that.
I don't want him.
Andrew, do you want him?
There's not really a spot for him right now.
Exactly.
So I don't.
It's not going anywhere.
I don't know if I see.
It's a joke. It's. I mean, it's not a joke. I saw the report,
it is, but it isn't.
I don't think he's really going anywhere. Salah, I'd be more concerned about Salah and Van Dijk leaving than him.
I think
Salah, because he really said that this is his last year, and Van Dijk.
I think that's just kind of him.
No, I know it is, but he still said it.
It's the Jacob Trouba Last Dance. Same thing. It's Jacob Trouba and Mo Salah.
That is a crazy comparison, but sure.
2 very important players on 2 very important teams.
All right,
One's the captain, one's not. Guess who isn't?
Oh, God.
all right, time to move on.
Okay.
Oh my God, I didn't see that one coming.
Are we still a pro endo podcast?
Were we ever?
Last year we were pro
I
endo, I
was
thought.
saying, last year, yeah, definitely.
I mean, he'll probably play on Wednesday.
Are you said Slot doesn't change the lineups?
He hasn't so far. If he doesn't change it for the energy drink cup, then
Right, time to sound the alarms.
if he plays his best 11 in the Carabao Cup, I will be sounding the alarms.
He's gonna have Darwin Nunez play 3 minutes off the bench.
Love it. All right.
One thing, if I'm him, if there was ever a time to play Chiesa, it's
definitely.
that game.
Yep.
Yeah, give him
Like
like
start
60
Chiesa.
minutes. Yeah, I'd give him 60, 65 minutes on Wednesday. See what he's got.
Good shout. Yeah. Get him acclimated.
He hasn't played yet, has he?
He played like 20-ish minutes at the weekend. Didn't do
Okay.
much, but hard to do anything in the late stretches of the game. But yeah, I'd give him 60 to 65.
All right. Moving on to Vardrid.
Why would you say that?
People will keep saying it.
You know that makes me mad.
I know it makes me mad too. But when you watch Kylian Mbappe scoring 75% of his goals through penalties, it's a little rough.
Who does he think he is? Cole Palmer?
John Pedro? Yeah. I mean, Jacob said it best. And as we all know, Real Madrid is the second favorite club in the world.
Yes, sir.
As we all know. You look at the results and you're like, they can't be that bad. They can't be that bad. Until you look further and you're like, oh, they scored 3 of their 4 goals after the 80th minute. And this is against Espanyol.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? What's going on? Ricardo, please help me here, because other than Danny Carvajal, everyone's on fraud watch.
Oh no, Courtois can't be on fraud watch. Besides
No,
the one goal.
come on now, I'm not counting Courtois, of course.
Okay, I was gonna say.
It's a great comeback season for Courtois.
Other than the goal he allowed, where
Forget that.
So strike that from the tape, huh?
Great
I mean, we
comeback.
shouldn't have conceded that, but
Didn't happen.
It happens. Whatever.
Other than that, it was a clean sheet.
Oh man, yeah, I don't really know where to begin with it, but the one thing I will say, at least Real played their best game. It isn't saying much against Espanyol, even though they conceded first. They did play their best game. That's when they looked their most.
They were the most dominant.
Yeah, but again, you're supposed to against Espanyol. So again, maybe take this with a grain of salt, but it's better than anything we've seen at all this season. I mean, you've seen lesser teams, smaller teams dominate Real. I mean, I don't know if Stuttgart is necessarily a smaller team, but you get what I'm saying. But even then,
compared to Real, there,
yeah. But Stuttgart was running all over them in that first half, and then penalties, whatever. So be it.
Fucking Denis Zundov. That's fraud. I hated him at Brighton, and of course he scores. Denis Zundov. He plays for Stuttgart now.
Yeah,
and he scored against Madrid.
It's a good goal.
I was screaming. I was so ballistic. Anyway, sorry.
But I mean, hopefully this past game was, one they can continue to build off of, especially, getting Jude back. Camavinga should be playing or available against. Should be available against Atletico, which will be huge in the weekend. And I mean, yeah, the Real have been fairly banged up as well going into this season, and just for the last month. But now the players are finally getting healthy. Maybe this is a point where, they start playing better now that their best players are back and fit. So I'm a little more optimistic now than maybe a month ago. So I mean, we play Alaves tomorrow. Should win that.
Yep.
Then the Madrid derby Sunday.
How
But-
you boys feeling about that?
Conor Gallagher has been very good for Atleti.
I thought you were going to say Conor Gallagher game. I'm like, no, please don't say that.
It's going to be the Conor
Yes.
Gallagher game.
Hasn't he scored in like his last two?
Yep.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Jacob is so mad.
He's a
Punching
Simeone.
air.
He's a
He
Simeone guy.
probably thinks he's playing Crystal Palace. He almost only scored against freaking Crystal Palace.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not fully true, but it's partially true.
Obviously, yeah, kind of is. But I mean, this is the time now. I mean, we're a month in, a little more than a month in, but this is where you should really be starting to figure things out and putting it together. So, if this keeps going, like, then it's really a problem. And at that point, I'm going to be saying, oh, and all that. But
But hold on now. So what's
we're
an
not
acceptable
at
result
that point.
against Atletico Madrid?
I mean, a win, ideally.
But what if it's an ugly? But hold on now. So if it's an ugly win,
I'll take an ugly win over Atleti. It's always ugly.
Yeah. No,
Okay, well-
yeah, they always just make it so difficult. So
That's fine. Yeah, no, here's the thing. Camavinga cannot come back soon enough. They need his bolt of energy. They need his stupid shots from 50 yards out.
What's the matter? Chukwuemeni's not good enough.
No, Chumeni's good.
I think they need both.
but
That's the
they
problem.
They
Need
work.
to play with 2 6s.
no, Camavinga play higher up.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but aren't they like?
but also with our injuries and our weird center back play, Chouameni could also hop back in the back
That is
line.
true. Oh, that's what he did
And-
this weekend, didn't he?
Well, you can't
Yeah.
put freaking Lucas Vasquez at center back again or right back or whatever.
No, they put
position.
Carvajal at center back and
sorry,
Lucas Vasquez at right back, which is. But no, I cannot wait for Camavinga's return. The return of the king with the number 6 shirt.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. Oh,
Yeah.
they need his adrenaline. They need stupid shots. I hate to say it. They're trying to. I don't know. I think maybe this is it. Maybe they're trying to be too precise. You know?
I just love how you guys are worried about Real Madrid, and Andrew's solution is take more stupid shots.
No. They need to play more loose. They seem to be too.
Loose going forward. I assume that's what you're saying.
Yeah. Going forward. Yes. No. Come on now.
Do you think that do you think
But-
they're being too passive in the final third?
I mean, yeah, watch them. Look at Rodrigo try to nutmeg like 3 defenders in the back line. I mean, it's
No, I think the other thing is just the final pass is
Yes.
what's
it's not
pulling
crisp.
They're
them
getting into the final third, but they can't make that final pass.
yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
And but that's one of those things that with time gets better. That's
Oh my
what-
God. When Militao had an open shot on goal and he tried to cut it back to Mbappe
yeah.
and like missed like 4 yards, I was take the damn shot. Be more aggressive. Be like Endrick. Take the damn shot.
And almost
All
take
right.
your legs out when you jump over that.
Yes, fine. Fine.
No.
If it means you're scoring a goal, fine. It's just they're I don't know why. They're trying too hard to I improve. I don't know. It's like they're trying to
They're trying to
it's
be
like
too
they're-
finesse.
well, it's like they're a team that's trying to impress each other, even though really the only new piece is Mbappe.
yeah.
It's like it's like this is their first time all playing together, rather than just one player who's being inserted. It's really, but I guess that player, when you add a player of that magnitude, maybe that's what they're worried about. I don't know. I don't get it, but I was very impressed from this past weekend. at least the very end against Espanyol. But hopefully that puts them in the right direction. Like I said, I could take a rough win against Atleti.
Yeah.
That's fine. If they get that, all's right in the world. So let's just, I mean, at least until, they lose against, I don't know.
Valencia.
Yeah, that would be a team we'd lose to on the day. My God. Anyways. I mean, we draw Las Palmas, so, that's what happens. We draw Mallorca and Kyle Larin. That's what happens. All right. Jacob, he gets his chance to shine. He gets to talk about his number 1 club now. Yeah, enough of the number 2. Look at him. His eyes are lighting up. He's ready.
Woke up to great news on Saturday morning.
Shoot.
Oh.
Julian Lopetegui.
Oh, no.
Should hand in his coaching badges now. That is that is one of the worst coach games I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm serious. I mean, West Ham were horrendous, and stupid Foot Mob gave them a 6.3 as a team. They lost 3-0 at home. They haven't won a home game yet. This guy's supposed to make the club better. He's made them significantly worse. I mean, the defending that they put forth was, oh my God. I mean, Nicholas Jackson just had to freaking just walk, and that's all he had to do. And Nicholas Jackson, all week I was like, start Nkunku, you got to start Nkunku. He scored the winning goal, and then I wake up, and then of course Nicholas Jackson has a double. So but I'll take it. He did a Thriller celebration. Tim Howard didn't know what it was, which is, I guess, I don't really know what music he listened to during his childhood, but somehow he didn't know what that was, and then I didn't know what it was, so I felt stupid. But that was fun to see that. They should have beat this team like 5-0. But I will gladly take their second straight clean sheet on the road. This team, they love playing on the road. All of their wins are on the road this year in the Premier League. They lost at home to City, and then they drew to friggin' Crystal Palace at home. So I think the thing that I like about Enzo Maresca, even though he's a little cocky, which he does that really weird thing with his lips that makes me feel very uneasy. But beside that, and now Andrew's doing it, which is making me feel uneasy.
I was doing the Rizzler, Costco guys. But I mean, that's who I associate Enzo Maresca with now, by the way. So,
but what I like about him is that they have an identity, and it's an identity that's relatively fun to watch. It's fast, it's attacking, it's relentless. Robert Sanchez actually looks kind of good. Back-to-back really good matches. I mean, I'm sorry, I gotta call a spade a spade. I mean, in the Bournemouth game, he saved the penalty thanks to that idiot Wesley Fofana who passed the ball backwards. And I want to like Wesley Fofana, but my God, he's not good. He's not good, folks. And it's really annoying because they paid $80 million for him. Why? I don't know. But
to stop Enzo Fernandez, that's why they paid him. Maybe.
Oh, Enzo Fernandez. I know they won, but my God, he did nothing. I need Romeo Lavia back now. I love Romeo Lavia has played not even a full match for my team, and I watched him in that game that they lost City, and he was so composed with the ball. It was like Malik Neighbors. Like I want to start crying.
Jacob, you want to hear a stat that'll annoy you even more about Enzo?
Sure, yeah, please.
Lost a game-high 11 duels against West Ham.
Well, he can't win a duel. Oh my God, he's so bad. I'm telling you guys, He does nothing. Remember how I kept telling you why they went on that run last year to close out the season? What was the number one reason they won 5 in a row to end the season? Who wasn't in the team? Enzo Fernandez. And I know they'll play Boro tomorrow in the Carabao Cup. They'll have this really nice long pass that'll lead to an assist. And then I'll say, "Oh, wow, I guess he isn't that bad all the time." But this is the problem. I get it once a month. I should get it every damn game. And this guy, don't forget, wears the captain armband. I love that they let Caicedo wear it. I'm like, oh, just anyone but Enzo Fernandez, please. I can't. And Moises Caicedo is slowly but surely getting better and better and better every game. Now, he still commits the stupid foul outside the box, which he loves to do, and really gets on my nerves. And this team is still very undisciplined. I think the last year they set the record for yellow cards. I think they want to break it, which is also very frustrating. But in all honesty, the positives are there. You know, Nicholas Jackson's got like 4 goals already. He's erratic, but he does put the ball in the back of the net. And he has more goals like in the last 12 months than Mohamed Salah does that aren't from penalties. Just saying. You know, more goals than Marcus Rashford. More goals than probably Rasmus Højlund.
Oh, it's easy to get more goals than Marcus Rashford.
Well, I mean, it's true. What do you want me to? I mean,
Danny Welbeck has more goals than Marcus Rashford in the last.
But I like him. Cole Palmer. It's funny because I'm a little worried because I think he's a little but maybe it's because he doesn't have to do everything this year. So I'm like, I don't know how well he's doing. He still had that goal. He's got like a decent amount of assists thanks to Wolves. Not for quitting in that game, but I like this team right now. I feel good about where they are. I'm not going to get too crazy because they've burned me too many times in the last 2.5 years. I'm not going to do it, but I feel good about the direction. Jadon Sancho, again, I'm not going to get too crazy, but so far, so good. No Pedro Neto, please.
You're already out on?
No starting him over Sancho, unless it's like the Carabao Cup or the Conference League. If it's an important Premier League game, I want Sancho at left wing over Neto.
Wow.
That's just. I mean, Neto's fine, but I mean, he was at Wolves for a reason. You know,
He almost had double-digit assists last year.
Almost. Like, you know, whoop-de-doo. Chelsea almost made the Europa League, but they didn't. Arsenal almost won the title, but they didn't. Liverpool almost won 4 trophies, but they didn't.
Look how fast that smile went off his face.
Gotcha.
I'll have to watch that back and find it.
But the point I'm trying to make is that they're just better, and they actually seem like there's like some semblance of like, we have a game plan, the manager knows what he wants, and the players go out and execute it. I know that sounds really basic, but considering what Chelsea have been lately, I will gladly take it. Just keep it real simple. And luckily they can't sign any players till January. And please don't. No more players. I wish that they could impose their own ban on their club to stop signing players. Because the group that they have now is fine. Don't do anything to ruin it. And maybe Reece James will come back, you know, before I turn, unless, I don't know, before I'm a year older, which is in a month. Maybe. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I can dream. And, you know, yeah, I feel good. We got Brighton this weekend. Andrew's Brighton. No Fabian Herzler because he got sent off.
I'm so disappointed. I was so ready.
Last year, we loved playing Brighton. It was a lot of fun.
I was so ready for Fabian Herzler. Herzler. That's how you pronounce it. Herzler.
What did he even get sent off for?
It was the end of the match. They had a huge shouting match.
So he was just shouting at a ref?
Well,
probably.
Yeah, it was very not cool. I mean, Espirito Santo got the red too. There was an altercation. Like after the Morgan Gibbs White red. And they were just shouting. And he wanted more. And more than the red card. They both got reds.
Talk about Brighton, Andrew, if you want. Any Brighton thoughts?
I didn't even make a topic for this because I don't want to talk about Brighton. But I'm going to talk about Brighton. Yeah. I don't know how to. I don't have a good read. I don't have a good read on Brighton. Their attack is fine.
It's Groundhog Day again.
I guess. I mean, they're talk about streaky. They'll draw 1 week. They'll win 2 straight that are kind of impressive. Then they'll draw with like Wolves. They'll beat like I don't know. It's like they'll beat Arsenal. I know they drew against Arsenal this time around, but let's just say this is the Brighton way. They'll beat Arsenal. They'll draw with Wolves, and they'll lose to Ipswich. That's what would happen. That's what would happen to Brighton. That's the Brighton way, historically. They show up for their bigger competition, and they play down to their lower competition. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, they should have beat Forest this past weekend. It should have been a win. But I don't know what to say about them. They're just... Danny Welbeck has turned back the clock. And I have to say this.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way.
Oh.
He's scoring like every weekend now. It's insane. I've turned around on Danny Welbeck. He's not my most hated Brighton player anymore.
Who is?
It's Lewis Dunk.
Oh, is it
Dunky.
I was gonna say maybe. Where's Evan Ferg on that list?
I don't hate Evan Ferg. He barely plays. He barely plays for me to hate him.
I know. Is he not? Talk about the most overhyped 3 games ever.
That's true. He came on at like the 83rd minute this last match. Like that's when he comes on. He comes on the 80th minute or later, and it's not enough time for Evan Ferg to cook.
There's nothing more annoying than when a manager puts especially a striker late in the game,
a young striker at that. Yeah. Like Evan,
I hate that.
De Zerbi did this too, so it's not like it's just Hertzler. But
I feel like De Zerbi is like shadow managing the team with these results.
He was trying to poach all of our players. Did you see that? It's like all the reports now were like, "Oh, De Zerbi wanted the Dingra. Oh, De Zerbi wanted Baliba at Marseille. Oh, De Zerbi wanted." De Zerbi wanted this guy. De Zerbi wanted Stupinian. It's like, oh my God, how many Brighton players do you want to poach? But I have to say this, Jack Hinchelwood, I love him. Jack Hinchelwood is my young player to watch this season for Brighton. Out of the billions of young players on that roster, he had an impressive season last year. But watch this kid, defensive midfielder who we need. With the O'Reilly injury and Billy Gilmore being at Napoli now, we need Jack Hinchelwood to step up as a defensive mid. He's only 19. Like, that's, I mean, being a 19-year-old 6 in the Premier League against those types of bodies, that's tough. That's tough for a young, scrawny Brit like him with no muscle. I love Jack Hinchelwood. He's always involved. He's always running. I love his energy. Stupinian's back too. He came back a few weekends ago, but I haven't been on since. But Stupinian's back, so that's good. The Brighton injury situation is getting a little better. It's getting a little better week by week. James Milner took a knock, so he's out till.
Not James.
Yeah, he took a knock. It's a minor one. It's minor, but it's I think it was a hamstring. So you expect that with James. He's
he can't run.
He can't run, and he's being forced to run. For his life. So it's tough, but I think Solly March should be coming back pretty soon too. But other than that, Kadioglu, I like Freddie Kadioglu, who they just signed from Fenerbahce. I like him as a fullback. He didn't play this last match, but to take the weights off of Stupinian and to finally have some depth, real depth at a fullback position. He can play left back or right back. It's much needed at Brighton. So I've liked the signings they made, but it's a matter of putting it all together. They've been playing Ruder as a 10 too. Something else I noticed, which Ruder's more Jorginho Ruder, who they just signed from Leeds. He's more used to playing as a winger, striker. I've never really seen him at Leeds play a 10, so that's kind of.
Is it working?
He wasn't that great this last match. He was against Forest, which is, that's a club you hope he succeeds in as a 10. He wasn't that great. They barely played João Pedro. He came out as a sub, so that's where João Pedro's. But they were giving him some rest. They were giving João Pedro some rest. That's why Ruder was playing a 10 as a 10. Otherwise, it would have been João Pedro, which is also a reason why we lost. But no, I digress. We got Chelsea. All right, we got Chelsea.
Bring it on.
We're playing away, so we have.
That's what I meant. I want you at your house.
We have house money.
I want to play Brighton on the road. We're the road warriors.
It's okay. Hertzler's waiting. He's waiting at the Amex.
Bring it.
You're not ready. You're not ready for his vest.
Hopefully Reece James will be healthy
jacket
by then, and he won't get ejected like he did the last time we went there.
Hertzler, he has the Poch outfit style.
Does he wear a bracelet on his right arm?
I don't think he wears a bracelet, but every other combination you could think of, it reminds me of Poch. But the American, I love him. All right, I think that's enough of that. We're not doing best bets this week. We'll be doing that again hopefully next week. We're taping this a little early this week, so we don't want to give inaccurate bets before the matches kick off this weekend. But before we hop off, you boys have anything else? Oh, all right. All right, everyone. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to leave a comment. Follow us on Twitter. You can leave any questions there or any comments in general. Christian handles that, and he does a very good job putting out clips. Much appreciated. And until then, you can just see us on there. I'm sure Christian will be posting. All right, y'all. Until we see each other again, peace out.